बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, लाडली लाल की जय, जगत गुरु श्री कृपालु जी महाराज की जय, 6 दिन की लाली की जय। मत प्रेयान राधिका प्रेयान मधवो राधिका धव तस्मादपि गरीयान्यो कृपालुर्मे जगद् गुरु। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर् गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः। गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। राधा करावचित पल्लव वल्लरी के, राधा पदांक विलसन मधुरस्थली के, राधा यशो मुखर मत खगावली के, राधा विहार विपिने रमताम मनो में। नमः कमलना भाय, नमः कमलमालिने, नमः कमल पादाय, नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्ब्रह्म देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Devotional listeners, now I humbly request your full attention, and I also ask that you turn off your cell phones. As I continue with the topic of Bhagavad Gita and the valuable lessons we learn from the scripture, Shri Krishna says to Arjun, O Arjun, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. Do your duty, fight the battle, but do not forget me even for half a moment. युद्ध भी कर, मेरा स्मरण भी कर. This is the philosophy of karma yoga. मन हरि में तन जगत, मन हरि में तन जगत में कर्म योग यही जान. और तन हरि में मन जगत में यह महान अज्ञान. भक्ति शतक. Jagat Guru Shri Kripalu ji Maharaj says, when the mind is on God and the body is engaged in works of the world, then that is karma yoga. But oftentimes we do the opposite. We do our physical duty towards God, Tanmay Aarti, I did bow down, I did light the diya. I've done that. So physically we do our duty while the mind is roaming all around the world. So the first one is Karma Yoga, the second one is Mahan Agyan. It is gross ignorance, great ignorance. So Shri Krishna says, think of me all the time as you do your duty. And this is a very powerful lesson for all of us. But we ask, how is it possible to do both simultaneously? It's not possible. But if it were not possible, then Shri Krishna wouldn't have said it. God does not ask us to do anything that is impossible. And if you think about it, Shri Krishna gave the knowledge of the Geeta to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. As the war is going to be raging on, Shri Krishna says, then at the same time you think of me. As you're protecting yourself from the enemy and as you're attacking the enemy. Such intricate work that requires so much attention. And Shri Krishna says, think of me all the time as you do that. This means that it is possible. Difficult in the beginning, but possible. You see, when we perform some work, whatever it may be, we need the involvement of the mind to do it. Even if it is such a small work, such an ordinary work, simple task, such as closing our eyes and opening them, closing them, opening them. Such an insignificant task, but the mind is absolutely necessary. The eyes do not close by themselves. The mind has to order the eyes. Okay, now close, now open. So it's mind plus the eyes. It's mind plus the ears. So our mind is the one that's doing all the work. So we need our mind to perform every single action. But we don't need the attachment of our mind when we perform an action. The involvement of the mind is absolutely necessary. But the attachment of the mind, that's optional. Do you want to do this work with the attachment with your mind attached to it? Or do you want to do this work without the attachment of the mind? That choice is up to all of us. So what Shri Krishna is saying, you need the mind, the involvement of the mind in doing your duty in the world, but you don't need to have the mind attached to it. I'll give you an example. Suppose there's a woman and her son is coming home after a full year of being abroad, and she's so happy to welcome him. And she cooks all his favorite foods. And she doesn't get tired. All day long she's cooking, she's cleaning. She wants everything to be perfect for her baby as he comes home. Baby may be 23, but a mother's heart, always her baby. So her child is coming home and she cooks all his favorite dishes and she asks him, Beta, how is it? Kaisa hai? Ma bahut acha hai. He says, Mom, it's wonderful. I've been so anxious I've been waiting to eat this food that you have cooked. So she's very happy. But now, the next day, they go out to eat. The family goes out to eat. And again she asks, Beta, how do you like this food? How do you like this restaurant? He says, the food is really good. He had said the same about the food that was cooked by his mother. So this food is really good too, he says. But there's a difference. The mother had cooked the food with a lot of attachment to her child. And the cook, who is an employee of the restaurant, he has cooked this food without any attachment. He doesn't know who he's cooking for. He's not attached to this young man. So even after the mother had cooked so many dishes, she was not tired because her mind was attached. So she felt very happy. But the cook, he's feeling very, very tired, and he thinks, oh, it's the end of the day almost, and here they come with this elaborate menu, and I have to cook so many dishes. His work was done without attachment, but you'll have to agree that both the woman, the mother, and the cook had done the same work. They had both cooked a meal that was delicious. So we can do the same work without attachment of the mind or with attachment of the mind. A nurse in the maternity ward, she delivers so many babies. She helps deliver so many babies. And when a child is born healthy, she congratulates the parents, grandparents, everyone who's there. When the child is not healthy, or if the child is stillborn, she offers her condolences. But she's not affected either way. She goes about doing her duty. Or a teller in the bank. If the teller is missing, the teller is missing, she just got paid and she just cashed in her check, and she's missing $50, and she says, where did it go? Where did it go? The bank is missing $100,000, it can't balance. $100,000 is missing, she doesn't care. That $50 is mine, she's attached to that money, but the 100,000, maybe even $1 million, she doesn't care, that's not her money. So हम वही काम दो तरह से कर सकते हैं. मन का संयोग तो चाहिए ही, लेकिन मन की आसक्ति के साथ करें वो काम या आसक्ति रहित करें, ये हमारे ऊपर है. श्री कृष्ण कहते हैं अपना कर्म करो, ड्यूटी निभाओ, कर्तव्य निभाओ, लेकिन आसक्ति मत रखो उसमें. Do not be attached when you do your duty. And when we do our duty, then that work is better done without attachment, as opposed to when we do the duty, when we do that work with attachment. You might not agree, but let me give you an example. A mother is very attached to her child. Her child has a sore throat and a little bit of a fever. But the child is insisting, Mom, I want ice cream. And the mother says, Pagli, I'm not going to give you ice cream. You have a sore throat. You have a fever coming up. And her daughter just kicks up, she throws a temper tantrum, and she begs and pleads, she cries and cries. And she even pretends that she can't breathe anymore because she's crying so much. Every child knows how to do that. So the mother gives in because of attachment. Ye le, kha le, papa ko mat batana. Don't tell your dad, right? Attachment to the child. Mother is not able to do her duty because attachment comes in. But if someone was hired to take care of the child, she would not let, he or she would not let, usually it's a she would not let the child have ice cream. That's you can cry as much as you want. I'm not going to give you ice cream. So where attachment comes in, we become shaky when we can't do our duty properly. Imagine a judge who has to settle a case. Many cases are presented. That judge is given a case where the judge is, one of the people fighting the case is the judge's brother. So the judge, she says, no, I cannot take this case because that's my brother. I cannot do my duty properly. A surgeon will not do surgery on her own child. That's my child. I cannot do surgery. But you are the best surgeon in the hospital. Your reputation has spread far and wide. You are the best one to do surgery. My hands are already trembling. I cannot do surgery on my own child. So these examples show that we do our duty properly if we are not attached. When we are attached, our duty goes wrong. We cannot do our duty effectively. So Shri Krishna says, do your duty, but keep your mind attached to me all the time. Karma Yoga. So Shri Krishna is not only instructing Arjun. Remember, Arjun is representing every man. He's representing every person, the common man. So this is an instruction for all of us. But we think, how can I be detached from my own child, my own wife, my own husband, my own loved ones? How can I be detached? That's impossible. And so, the Guru teaches the disciple, you just attach your mind to God. That's all you need to do. Jagat Guru Uttam Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, the greatest scholar of the scriptures, the God-realized soul, Pancham Mool Jagat Guru Uttam, he's the authority on scriptures. And he never really spoke about detaching your mind from your family. Because you don't have to concern yourself with detaching the mind from the world. World meaning our world. Comprised of 10 people, maybe even less. There's a nuclear family. That's it. That's our world, isn't it? Shri Maharaj never said, you must detach your mind from your children, from your spouse, from your home, house, family, your business, this, that. No. He simply said, attach your mind to God. Brilliant. When we think about detachment, we become very frightened. The word vairagya, oh my God, are you going to detach yourself? Are you going to move? Are you going to move away from the family? Are you going to leave? A woman said to me, she said, Didiji, I'm scared. My husband talks about going to the Himalaya. And I think he's going to leave me one day. And I asked, well, how long has he been saying that for? She said, over 20 years. I said, he's not going to leave you. Don't worry about it. He's just like saying that. And by the way, I told him, you don't have to leave home. Look, I'm going to name your home, your house, your home, Himalaya. Put the sign up and you're already living in Himalaya. You don't have to leave. So when we think about detachment, we think, oh, he's going to leave. She's going to leave. But detachment is, we don't have to think about detachment. Only think about attachment. Attach your mind to God and Guru. That's all that we need to do. And what happens is detachment from the world happens automatically. You don't have to work at it. It's not painful. It's just a very natural phenomenon. Detachment comes automatically. To be detached, you don't have to leave your home and house and family physically. You have to, that detachment is something in the mind. It's the mind that needs to be detached, not the body. So the biggest sannyasinis were the gopis, the milk maidens of Vrindavan. They were completely detached. But could anyone tell by looking at them? There's a gopi, she is cooking a meal for her family. There she is going to the Yamuna. There she is being so affectionate with her little child. There she is pacifying the crying child. There she is cleaning the house. That doesn't look like anyone who is detached. But the gopi is completely detached. Her attachment is only to Shri Krishna. That's it. But she's doing so much. The Bhagavatam says, Yadohane vahanane mathano pale papreng khanarbha rudito kshanamar gayanti chaina manurakta dhiyo shrukantyo dhanya brajastriya urukramachitta yana. The gopi is milking the cow. The gopi is cleaning the house. She is thrashing the wheat, separating the wheat from the chaff. She is doing all these worldly chores, but her mind is completely detached. Her mind is involved in all these works, but the body is involved. And the mind is involved, but the mind is not attached to the work. The mind is attached only to Shri Krishna. Her mind is only saying Krishna, 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 Krishna. And she is doing all ordinary works of the world. The gopis are so great that even Brahma, creator Brahma, falls at their feet. Brahma says, I desire the foot dust of the gopis. Mujhe gopiyon ki charan ranj chahiye. The greatest Jnani, Uddhav and others, they desire the foot dust of the gopis. And outwardly, these gopis are illiterate milk maidens. हम बोलते हैं ना निरक्षर भट्टाचार्य, अनपढ़ गंवार स्त्रियां. गोपियों को देखकर लोग यही कहते थे, अनपढ़ है, गंवार है, कुछ आता जाता नहीं. उनका हस्ताक्षर लीजिए तो कहते हैं हमें लिखना नहीं आता, चलो अंगूठे का छाप दे दो, इसलिए हम कहते हैं अंगूठा छाप. अंगूठा छाप लिखना आता नहीं. So outwardly the gopis were illiterate women folk they were villagers, but they were so great that even Brahma falls at their lotus feet. He wishes to receive the dust of their feet. They were the most detached. They were the most devoted. When sage Narad wrote his scripture, Narad Bhakti Darshan, which is his greatest scripture, he was talking about bhakti, devotion. Talking about devotion, Narad Muni thought, I should give an example. When people read my scripture, they'll want to know, is there anyone who has practiced devotion to God, who has loved God in this way that Narad is describing it? So he said, people will want to know, so I'll give an example. So he wrote a sutra, an aphorism, and that is, Yatha Braj Gopika Nam. That devotion that I'm talking about, the greatest example of devotees who have practiced devotion in this way, who are completely selfless, those are the gopis. Yatha Braj Gopika Nam. Tat Sukha Sukhitvam. They love Shri Krishna only for his happiness, never considering their happiness. So the gopis are the most detached devotees. But you cannot tell by looking at them. They look like householders. Their ghungat extends down to here. They don't look like they're very advanced in devotion. They are very detached. Look, they're taking care of their households. So detachment is not something that you can see from outside. And detachment is not something you need to do physically. It is something that is done internally, mentally. You can have so-called sannyasis living on the top of a mountain, but they're fighting with one another, saying, that's my begging bowl, you stole it from me. Are you sannyasis? Are you fighting about a begging bowl? They have hardly any possessions, but they may be fighting. They may be saying Ram, 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 and yet have rag and dvesh, feelings of adversity towards one another. That's not a sannyasi. And then you have sannyasis like Raja Janak, King Dashrath, King Ambarish, King Dhruv, King Prahlad. They're running kingdoms, and yet they are totally detached from the kingdom, the treasures, from all the luxuries that they're living in. Totally detached. Once Yajnavalkya, King Janak had accepted him as his guru. Yajnavalkya was instructing King Janak along with others. And the other disciples, they were very poor sannyasis and they lived in poverty. That was their choice. And they started thinking that our guru pays a lot of attention to King Janak. And why not? He's a king. We are nobodies. And King Janak, he always says to King Janak, sit in the front. That's because King Janak, the king must give him a lot of dakshina. The doubt came in. Yajnavalkya, he knew what they were thinking. So he said, I will tell them why I favor Janak. So using his Yoga Maya, he created a fire in King Janak's palace. So all the many servants of King Janak, they came running, and King Janak was learning about Brahma from his guru. And King Janak heard his servants say, Maharaj, come, your palace is on fire. Your family is perishing in the fire. King Janak kept on looking at his guru. He kept on saying, Gurudev, tell me more about Brahma. Tell me more about Brahma. Servants went away. Then more servants came, said, Maharaj, you've lost everything. King Janak is thinking, it wasn't mine anyway. Nothing was mine. The palace, the wealth, the family, nothing was mine. It was God's, and God took it all away. He's concentrating on what his guru is saying. He wants to learn about Brahma. So then, Yajnavalkya, he created an artificial fire in the modest little huts of the other disciples. And when they saw their huts burning down, they could see from the open air classroom, they could see their huts were burning down. They rushed to save whatever they could. And what did they have to lose? A couple of articles of clothing and a begging bowl. But they rushed to save whatever, salvage whatever they could. When it all came to light that there was no fire, nowhere, there wasn't any fire anywhere, then King Janak said to them, you people think that I favor Janak because of his wealth, because he's a king? You are wrong. I favor him because he listens to me. He listens to me. He pays attention to each and every word of mine. So why would I not want him to come in the front? You people are not paying that attention, he said to the others. And he's very detached from everything. Look, he thought that his palace was burning. Did he go to salvage whatever he could? No. He has faith in God. He's totally detached. So we must become internally detached, and to become detached, we just need to attach our mind to God. And if there's anyone else, then it is the divine Guru. God and Guru. That's it. That detachment, when the heart becomes detached, what happens is that earlier the heart it used to melt for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people. Now it melts for the entire world. There are feelings of compassion not only for the loved ones, not only for the family members, but for the entire world. Tulsidas ji says in the Ramayana, par dukh dukh sukh sukh dekhe par. संत का हृदय ऐसा होता है कि दूसरे को दुखी देख करके वो खुद दुखी हो जाते हैं. दूसरों को सुखी देखकर उनको सुख की अनुभूति होती है. A saint, when he sees the misery of others, he suffers himself. And when he sees the happiness of others, he becomes happy. Par dukh dukh sukh sukh dekhe par. An ordinary person of the world is attached to his family, and that's it. It doesn't matter what's going on in the neighborhood. It doesn't matter what's going on with the neighbors. Whatever is going on in the neighborhood, the city, the country, the world, but my family should be safe. My family should be thriving. My family, nothing should happen to it because of the attachment. But when the heart becomes detached, then that love, that compassion, the empathy goes to the whole world, because now he is seeing God everywhere. So he sees God in every individual, in every particle of creation. And he's not attached to only a few people. Now he's detached, but the love is there in the heart. Let's talk about what detachment really means. Vairagya. Rag means attachment, and virag or vairagya means detachment, the opposite. Once there lived a king in the ancient times, when there were kings and queens, there lived a king. I mean, even in modern times there are, but he lived and he ruled over a vast kingdom. One day he became really bothered, and he thought, I do so much for my kingdom, for my subjects, but there are always people talking against me, holding placards, down with the king, and I'm being criticized so much. I don't want to be doing this. What is this all about? People look at me and they think I'm enjoying great wealth, but they don't know how I feel inside. He said he felt so detached from everything, he just left. He left his kingdom, left his family, left everything. And he left as he was, wearing the royal robe, the crown on his head. And he went out to the woods. And there he sought out a holy man. And he said, Guruji, please accept me as your disciple. Guru said, first detach yourself from the world. Then I will think about it. The king went away thinking, have I not detached myself from the world? I left my kingdom, my wife, my children, my wealth. I've left everything. The prestige that comes with being a king, I left that behind. I don't know what he means. So he thought and thought, and then he said, oh my goodness, I forgot. I have these royal robes on and I have all these ornaments. So he discarded them and he wore very simple clothes. He went back to his guru, to the sage, and he said, oh holy sir, please accept me as your disciple. I have become detached. And the holy man said, didn't I tell you to become detached? You're not detached. Go and become detached, then come to me. Don't waste my time. The king went away thinking, what does he mean? I'm wearing simple clothing. There's no indication that I was ever a king. I don't know what to do. And there was a fire burning within him that I want to attain God. I don't want the world. The world did not give me any happiness. I want to attain God. So he thought, what should I do? What should I do? And it dawned upon him that maybe he should discard all his clothing. He thought, well, out of modesty, I'm wearing these clothes, but I think Gurudev wants me to even discard this clothing. So he discarded all his clothing and he said, Guruji, I'm sorry. I have even renounced all sense of propriety and modesty. I have come to you. I have renounced everything. But the holy man said, you are really wasting my time and I'm losing patience with you. Detach yourself from the world, then come to me. And the king went away and he was so despondent. He thought, if my guru is not going to accept me, what is the point of living? So he sat under a tree. He started to meditate on God. And he had accepted the holy man to be his guru. So he started to meditate on God and Guru. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days. He forgot all about food and water and rest. He just kept on meditating. And his heart became more and more pure. He let go of all his ego. And on the 7th day, the Guru came to him. And the king was sitting in meditation. The Guru said, O king, I have come to accept you. But the king had let go of the pride of ever having been a king. He now doesn't identify himself as someone who was ever a king. So he didn't open his eyes. He didn't hear those words. So the Guru said, O Tyagi Vairagi, O renunciate, you have renounced so much. Open your eyes. The king did not open his eyes because he had given up the pride that he had given up everything. Then the Guru said, O dear disciple of mine, open your eyes. I have come to accept you. Immediately the king opened his eyes. His Guru embraced him and said, earlier, you were proud of having been a king. You were then proud of you were also proud of having renounced everything. But now you have renounced even the pride of having renounced everything. So now you are truly detached. If you have detached yourself from the world and you're harboring that pride, you know what? I detached myself from the world. I'm very detached. I'm not at all attached. I have renounced everything. That means you think you are great because you have renounced everything. That ego had to leave you. And now you are truly detached. That is the true meaning of detachment. One more thing about detachment is that attachment is like a coin with two sides. You know, we flip a coin and we say it heads or tails. So there are two sides to every coin. So if attachment is a coin, then one side is love, the other side is hatred. Detachment means not loving the world, but it also means not hating the world. The one who is detached from the world does not expect happiness from the world. But he also does not say, oh, this world is just full of unhappiness. ये तो दुख का संसार है, यहाँ दुख ही दुख है. वो ये भी नहीं सोचता यहाँ सुख ही सुख है. वो ये भी नहीं सोचता कि वो यहाँ दुख ही दुख है. He does not expect happiness from the world, so therefore he doesn't love the world. He does not think that the world is a source of misery, so he does not hate the world. So detachment means neither loving nor hating. Neither love nor hatred. हम लोग ऐसा सोचते हैं ना कि हम उसे बहुत अटैच्ड हैं, यानी हम बहुत प्यार करते हैं उससे, अपने बेटे से, अपनी बीवी से, अपने पति से, अपने मित्र से. प्यार जो है वो भी आसक्ति है, लेकिन जब हम कहते हैं उससे हमारी बिल्कुल आसक्ति नहीं, उसमें आसक्ति नहीं है, उससे हम घृणा करते हैं, वो घृणा भी अटैचमेंट है. घृणा आसक्ति के दो रूप हैं, प्यार और खार. प्यार भी आसक्ति है, घृणा हेट्रेड खार वो भी आसक्ति है. तो विरक्त होने के लिए ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हमारे मन में कोई प्यार नहीं है, लेकिन खार भी नहीं है. कबीर दास जी ने कहा ना, कबीरा खड़ा बाजार में सबकी मांगे खैर, ना काहू सो दोस्ती ना काहू सो बैर. ना काहू सो दोस्ती ना काहू सो बैर. Kabir Das ji says, I don't love the world, I don't hate the world. I treat the world like a marketplace. You go into a marketplace, a mall, let's say, and you meet acquaintances or friends, and you say, oh, hello, Radhe Radhe, Namaste, whatever you want to say. And then you move on, that's it. Or even if you ask, how are you doing? That's the American way, hey, how are you doing? Without really caring how the other person is doing, we ask, it's just something that's done. There was a gentleman who had come from India recently. He told me many years ago. He said, when people ask me how you're doing, I thought they're so sympathetic and pathetic. So one day I did tell someone. He said, hey, how are you doing? And I said, I tell you something, I'm not doing well. I'm missing my family back home. And, I don't have a job yet. Things are bad. And he said, and this man looked at me like I had 5 eyes or I had horns on my head. What are you saying? Then I understood that's the American way. Just ask, hey, how are you doing? So Kabir Das ji says, I treat this world as a marketplace where you meet and greet people, but you don't become attached. You don't say, come home with me. You don't say, hey, we were talking for a couple of minutes, now I'm going to miss you. You just stay with me, okay? We don't do that. We are detached. He says, I see the whole world as a marketplace. Because love is for God. So what is a householder to do? What is an average person to do? What is everyone to do? What is the instruction? What is Sri Krishna trying to say? What he's saying is, practice devotion in everyday life. Shri Krishna talks about 2 kinds of practice of devotion, 2 types of sadhana. The very word sadhana means practice. In our context, it means practice of devotion. So Shri Krishna says, practice devotion in this way. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. Think of me, practice devotion as you're doing works of the world. So if you're cooking, visualize that I'm right there, and you're cooking for me. Take very ordinary, very worldly works and convert them into acts of devotion. You're cleaning the house, you think, I'm standing right there, I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at you. So you're aware of me, and you're cleaning the house for my happiness. And I'll explain all this tomorrow. But that's what, in a nutshell, that's what Shri Krishna is saying. Think of me at all times while you do your worldly chores, while you do your duty in the world. And the other devotion, other practice is Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Give up all your duties. Give up the duty to your family, to society. Give up all your duties and practice devotion only to me. Only practice devotion to me. So the first practice is called Karma Yoga Sadhana. The second one is called Karma Sannyas Sadhana. Is Sri Krishna really saying that we must give up everything, that we must renounce all duties and practice devotion to Him alone? That's not practical. I can't do that. No. What Sri Krishna is saying is, out of 24 hours, at least give 1 hour to me, he says. At least 1 hour. If not 2 hours, if not 3, just give 1 hour. During that 1 hour, renounce house and home and family and work and iPhone and iPad, iPod, all the iGadgets. Give them all up. Just renounce them for that 1 hour and practice devotion to me. Focus your mind on me. Focus your mind on me. And after that, you have to face your world and your duties. Then do your duty, but get your mind accustomed to thinking about me. And then one day you will be doing your duty and simultaneously you'll be thinking of me all the time. So there is practice that way. So Shri Krishna is telling us to practice devotion in 2 ways. And it's all in the Gita. But as I have said to you, the Gita is a very short scripture. It doesn't go into detail. It's a very important scripture. But to get the details, we have to go to other scriptures, like the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam that is hailed as the greatest of all scriptures. So we need to go to other scriptures. And as I said on the very first day, the Gita itself is at the essence of the teachings of the Upanishads. Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandana. So the Gita contains the knowledge, formidable knowledge of the Upanishads, and everything is told in brief, and for the explanation, we have to go to the other scriptures. So Jagat Guru Uttam Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj has taken all the scriptures and he has put them all together, and he has shown the world that all the scriptures are saying the same thing. This is why Sri Maharaj Ji never really spoke on just the Gita or just the Vedas, just the Purans. He would take from all of them. And in one particular lecture, he might quote from 30 different scriptures, sometimes 50 different scriptures. Because he knew all the scriptures. He had reconciled all the knowledge of the scriptures. So when we speak about the Gita, we have to bring in the other scriptures. There's a need to do so. So today we have learned the great lesson about being detached from the world and how we can become detached. The practical methods, that will be the topic for tomorrow, the final lecture of this series. Boliye Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki Jai. Boliye Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri